I was made for God. Colossians chapter 1, verse 16 says, everything was made by him and what? And for him, including us. We'll never really understand our purpose until we understand that I was made by him. Like he knows me by name. He knows how he wired me. He knows how I'm gifted. And I wasn't only made by him, but I was made for him. I was made to be in a relationship with him. So if I'm made for him, I need to understand who is he and who am I? Jesus is both God and human. That was affirmed by the miracles and perfect life that Jesus lived. Verse 22, God publicly endorsed Jesus the Nazarene by doing miracles, wonders, and signs through him, as you well know. He wasn't just human, he was that, but he's also God. Only as a human could he relate to us, only as God could he save us. Peter goes, this was someone unusual. Then we're told why Jesus came, that he would die, and it was both for our sin and yet God's plan. Verse 23, the next verse, he says, this man Jesus was handed over to you by God's deliberate plan. You might underline that little phrase there, and foreknowledge, and you with the help of wicked men put him to death by nailing him to the cross. It was the Father's plan. He knew it was the only way that we could be saved and part of his family, and it was my sin. Both of them took Jesus to the cross. If that had been the end, we wouldn't be here today. Like there would be no Christianity. But what happened next is that Jesus did not stay dead. He came back to life because it was impossible for death to hold him down. But God raised Jesus from the dead, freeing him from the agony of death because it was impossible for death to keep its hold on him. A little bit later, verse 32, Peter says, God has raised this Jesus to life, and we are all witnesses. A few weeks ago, we said over 500 people saw Jesus alive. He goes, Jesus isn't dead. He's not stuck in some Jerusalem cemetery kind of deal. He came back from death. And that makes Jesus different than any other leader in all of history. Verse 33, now Jesus is exalted to the place of highest honor in heaven at God's right hand, and the Father, as he had promised, gave him the Holy Spirit to pour out upon us, just as you see and hear today. Folks, that's who Jesus is. Just a summary, Peter's going, he's someone unlike anybody else. He's human and he's divine. He died, and he died because of our sin and according to God's plan. He didn't stay dead. He came back to life, and now it makes him different than any other leader. And he's been given the Holy Spirit Jesus has to pour out on us. They were cut to the heart. People in that first message, they were cut to the heart. Why? Because when I realize how much I need Jesus, I begin to say, wow, it was my sin that took him to the cross. Like he would have died just for me. And it's my guilt and all the things I've done wrong, my failures, that Jesus had my name in mind when he would go to the cross, and he did that for me. There comes a place in every one of our lives when we really get that and we say, I've made a mess of my life. I don't care what other people think about me. Maybe they think I've achieved. I've been promoted to another position. I keep on doing better in the world's eyes. But there comes a time when every one of us, when we truly know who we are and we have self-awareness, we go, I'm cut to the heart. We need to be saved because indeed we're lost. What Jesus did here was to meet the two greatest needs in my life, to deal with my sin that locks me out of a relationship with God. He dealt with that, and he also conquered death